entonces me nega.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Simba XE, and today I have 16 PUBG tips that everybody who plays PUBG should know. Alright, now my first tip is for new players, and that is to drop at school. It's sort of a trial by fire, but you'll get used to a variety of weapons and get the feel for them. You'll also get a ton of gunfights under your belt, which will help you feel more confident with your weapon aiming, and basically just help you get better at the game. My second tip is kinda subjective, but I highly recommend you use the Type B controller binding. This makes it so when you press LT to aim, you go straight to your weapon's sights instead of the over-the-shoulder aim. You can also still use the over-the-shoulder aim for close-range fights by pressing LB. Tip number 3 is to lower your sensitivity, because a lower sensitivity helps your aim. Since PUBG on Xbox has no aim assist, I recommend starting with a lower sensitivity to get you used to aiming without the aim assist that other games have spoiled you to. For the fourth tip, if you're using an automatic weapon, don't hold down the trigger in ranged engagements. Instead, do 4 to 5 shot bursts, and at close range use the over-the-shoulder aim without using burst fire, so only use full auto at close range, never at long range. Tip number 5 is something that a lot of people don't know, but you can actually adjust the brightness of the red dot sight by holding RB and moving the left stick back and forth. This can help you see better at long range or see better when you're inside of a house. It just becomes really helpful if you know how to do it. Tip number 6 is kinda similar, but it has to do with the 8 and the 15 times scopes. By holding down RB and moving the left stick with the 8 and 15 times scope, you can zoom in and out instead of being stuck at full zoom. Tip number 7 is something that I hear a lot of people argue over, and that is the difference between an angled foregrip and a vertical foregrip. The angled foregrip makes you aim down sight faster, while the vertical foregrip reduces more recoil, so it's really personal preference. If you can handle the recoil, go for the angled so you can aim faster. If you can't handle the recoil, go for the vertical. Tip number 8 is a mistake that I see a lot of people make. Do not use the front door of a building. In most buildings in the game, you can gain access through a window or a second level door, which can really help you get the jump on players who are camping at the front door just waiting for somebody to come in. Tip number 9 has to do with looking around and finding enemies without giving away your position by moving. If you're sitting behind cover and you want to spot enemies without moving, you can hold RB and use the right stick to look around without moving your character. This can be really helpful if you're pinned down and need to look behind you because you think somebody's coming up behind you. Tip number 10 is for faster movement. You can hold Y to put away your weapon, which will allow you to run faster. This helps a lot when running from the zone, which you'll do a lot in this game because it doesn't like to give you a vehicle when you need one. Tip number 11 is to help you move quieter. To do that, just go barefoot. If you take off your shoes, you will be quieter on almost all surfaces in the game, making it substantially harder to hear you compared to the people running around with shoes on. Tip number 12 applies to when you're playing either duos, squads, or anything that has more than one person. Use map markers to figure out where you guys want to go, and also use callouts. The numbers on the top of your screen can really help your teammates find the enemies that are shooting at you, so for the love of God, don't just say he's over there, or you'll likely all get killed because nobody knows where over there is. Tip number 13 kinda has to do with tip number 1, or just landing in hot zones in general. If you land in a hot zone, go for guns first. You can get everything else after you've cleared the area and made it safe from enemies. Tip number 14 has to do with running. Are you tired of holding down the stick every time you want to run somewhere? Well, you can double click the left stick and it'll auto run for you, allowing you to sit down your controller, get a drink, text somebody back. But don't take too long, otherwise you're probably going to run straight towards somebody with their gun out. Tip number 15 has to do with going for long shots. You can hold your breath for a more steady shot by holding LB. This can also help in certain situations where the enemy's not right on top of you to keep your shots more straight. Just don't use it at super close range, otherwise you're probably going to die trying to line up your shot. Alright, now for the final tip, tip number 16. This is something that a lot of people don't know and it can really help save you. Instead of going into your inventory to use healing items, you can use your healing items by pressing down on the D-pad to cycle through all of your meds, and holding down on the D-pad to use your selected healing item. This really helps if you're being shot at and don't have time to actually go into your inventory. You can just take cover, press down on the D-pad, and then hold it, and then you're healed. Which one of these tips was your favorite? Comment below, and hopefully these help you become a better PUBG player, as I've noticed a lot of people don't know these little tips and tricks, and it can really help you out. Anyways, as always, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.